Welcome back to Baking It Down, presented by the Waffle House Football League. Happy Halloween, everyone. I am your host, Hayden Tiemann, and we have a frightening week to recap, filled with close calls, high scores, and deadly decisions. So, without further ado, let's see how Week 8 treated everybody. We will start with this week's closest matchup, Raw Sauce Gillette versus Brock's Bold Team. Both kickers would let their teams down this week, but a missed field goal from Young Ho Koo would have a devastating consequence for Raw Sauce Gillette, who lost by a mere 1.55 points. With that, Brock will advance to 7-1 on the season. Show Me Your TDs wide receiver Jaden Reed underdelivered in the team's otherwise well-performing loss last week. Despite being the fourth highest scoring team, Show Me will fall to 5-3, while KC will advance to 4-4 thanks to the win. Yet again, we see underperforming kickers in our matchup between Houston and Travis, with Jason Myers scoring a measly 4 points. This, however, would not be the worst performance of this game, as neither team's defenses could even compete with that. In the end, Cool Team takes the loss, 107-135. Myself and the Paints faced off against my little brother and the Chicken Nuggets in a game where a lot was left on the bench. Thankfully, Tyler Lockett would take the field, dropping only 1.4 points from one reception. The final outcome of this game would be 108-136 and a loss for Denver. Both Las Vegas and Sean would field players that may have been better left at home this week. Jordan Mason would bring only 1.8 points from 18 rushing yards, but not to be outdone, Amari Cooper's one reception would only be worth 0.8 points. But at least Amari Cooper and the rest of standout team can take some solace in their win over the Rancheros. National Tight End Day did no favors for Big Brown Dak or the Boone Valley Bitches, as their TEs would combine for just 9.2 points in this close matchup. To no one's surprise, this game would not go Lucas's way, as Todd made sure to hand him his 7th loss this season. After the game, I asked Lucas about his worst defeat, his regrets from draft night, and his fears for the season going forward.
I would say the biggest letdown of the draft was definitely Devontae Adams. Was not expecting him to be out with a injury for the weeks that he was, and then even after the trade, still not producing what I expected him to be at all. I would say the biggest upset or letdown of a game loss was definitely this past week against Todd. Monday Night Football has just not been kind to me the past 3 weeks. I had a kicker drop 14 points, securing me a 3-point loss. That was definitely a letdown, so that was a tough loss. And the biggest thing going forward now is just being last in the league again, because I definitely don't want that to happen, and it's looking pretty favorable. I mean, I have the points to be high in the rankings, but not the wins or anything else. So definitely a big concern right now.
Now let's see what decisions shocked the scene as we dive into the good, the bad, and the ugly. First, we have Brock's brilliant decision to put in Aaron Rodgers over Geno Smith. These quarterbacks' point production has been back and forth all year, so it's a toss-up that could have gone either way. Thankfully for Brock, the extra 9 points from Rodgers would make him a game winner. Next, we have the bad decision from Denver, as Ladd McConkey would outscore Tyler Lockett by almost 25 points. Thankfully for the Nuggets, the sole decision would not be responsible for his loss this week. And a decision that did result in a loss, however, came from Raw Sauce, as Ramondre Stevenson dropped 22 points on his bench. This 14.8 point differential would prove devastating in such a close matchup. So how has everyone moved around since week 6? Brock has not budged, while Show Me and Houston have switched places. Myself and KC have moved up 2 spots, while Raw Sauce has stayed consistent. Big Brown Dak climbs up a couple of spots, while his brother Travis takes a dive down to 8th. The Las Vegas Rancheros fall below our red line to join Sean, Boone Valley, and Denver. Now remember, folks, if you find yourself below this line at the end of week 14, you'll miss the playoffs and potentially have to face this season's punishment. Moving on to our upcoming matchups, we have brothers Sean and Casey battling it out. Show Me Your TDs goes up against Big Brown Dak. We have our animal mascot matchup between Travis and Boone Valley. The Chicken Nuggets face off against the Happy Endings. Las Vegas and Raw Sauce will battle it out. And for our Week 9 Game of the Week, we have the New Orleans Paints versus Brock Bold team. That's right, I chose myself for this week. It's a 1 and 4 seed matchup, and I'm hoping it'll be a good one. And with that, we will wrap up this video. We will be taking another break next week, but Lucas will be back for our Week 10 episode. Thank you for watching, and best of luck to everyone this weekend.